Hi, and welcome to my video on how to mold an Adirondack chair. I'm going to do this in 4 molds. I'm going to do the left side of the chair, the right side of the chair, the bottom seat slat area, and the back seat slat area. For this video, we're just going to do the left and right side of the chairs, and next videos after this, we'll go ahead and do the seats slats, both the bottom and the top. In this photo, I have 2 prototypes on the table, the one on the left, which is in yellow, and the one on the right, which is on red. And those are the 2 that we're going to detail how I kind of put them all together, so stick with me. Okay, I started the process out by making this one template of the actual legs and the stringer so that I could make both the left and the right side exacting to one another. Once I had made that, I tested it with the legs and the stringer to make sure that it fit and everything was as the plans called out for. Once I'd established that, I then drew the first overview of the template that I could actually cut out and make what would ultimately become the 2 rubber inserts. Although I've used plywood in this particular, photo, I'm just sizing it up, trying to get my idea of what the inserts will actually look like. So this is what I ended up making, is a one-piece insert that I'll capture through the mold. Once I'm done molding it, I'll take this piece out, put the cement stringer in the finished mold, and then pour section 1 and 2 for rubber inserts to be made. Next, here's a little piece of photograph that I've had for years in the back of my shop. Is some steel supports that I got off a commercial shelving system, retail, and it's quite formidable if you look at the actual profile of the steel that I'm showing you now in this picture. But I'm trying to make a steel frame that doesn't bend or give to keep that plywood and the prototype from ever distorting from a flat, nice piece that I've created it to be. Alright, well, I got both of these done. I just got to clean them up a little and then mount them to the plywood. Okay, I'm cutting the rubber forms that'll form the rubber, keep it straight, nice, and I'm just starting out with some 1x3s, and I'm going to cut 2 of each because each pattern is identical. So just getting it on the line, getting it to where I know it's long enough. And I just cut the angles on this. I had it cheated, and I thought, well, I better get this on. I love this little blade on the grinder. I know a lot of you think that would be kind of dangerous, but if you respect your tool and you go in the right direction, it cuts so nice. Alright, now I've got all the rubber pieces doubled up, trimmed, so there's 2 for each set, the left side and the right. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape these because rubber is going to stick to the wood, especially the end grain. It's impossible to get that off, and we're going to release this with a release agent, but even then it still doesn't want to come off the wood real easy. Wood is a very bad thing to use in rubber, but it's economic to do so. So I'm just going to tape it all the way around and make it to where rubber can't stick. That's as simple as that. Alright, now I've got all these taped. They're cut, taped, and pre-drilled, so they're ready to put on. But right now I've got to make the forms for the cement, and they basically sit right on top. Alright, so I've cut all of the forms that are needed to form the cement for the hard mold, and they're all cut. Now these aren't going to be taped, they're simply going to be oiled. I'm not pre-drilling them yet because I'm going to be on top of the rubber forms, and I'm just going to mount these once I'm done with the rubber and it's dry. Then I'll be putting these on top of the rubber form, so I don't know where the screws are, and I don't want to have to line up, so I'll just drill those before I go to actually mud it. But that's all done. Next step. Just wanted to detail my making of two prototypes for the left side and the right side chair prototypes. I started out with an empty table, added the steel forms for support, left and right, and then covered both with plywood as a backer. Then I covered the plywood with plastic shower board with the markings to lay out the inserts for the right side insert, left side plywood insert, and then went into the back right leg, right front leg, and then the right armrest with the armrest bracket. Went to the left side front leg, left side back leg, left side armrest, and then the armrest bracket. And I started with 7 rubber forms around the right side, so to get that all formed up for rubber. Then I did the left side, again forming it for rubber. Cut all these individually, and then I did the cement, which I'm going to do after the rubber, the forms for the cement. They're all cut and ready to go. And I did the right side as well. So that kind of details all the pieces, the 44 separate pieces that I made for this to be ready to mold. All right, I got all the prototype pieces cut, and right now I've got to prepare the pieces so that I can actually use the rubber and the cement and not have either stick to any of this. The forms that I put on last are for the concrete. They're really going to be discarded right now until the rubber's done. But I got it all cut nevertheless. On these rubber stops, or the forms for the rubbers, I've taped these to where the rubber can't stick to it. It's a plastic tape and it ain't going to stick. So as we release this, it'll get some release on here, but it doesn't need it. So right now the forms, this one's going to be oiled prior to the cement, and these are already taped. Now as far as these pieces, they all need to be assembled. But first I have to put the plywood to the steel frames, the shower board to the plywood, this plywood insert to the whole assembly, and then I'll mount these down. Prior to mounting these down, I need to seal these like 3 times and sand them, and then assemble them. Wherever I put screws in, I don't want those countersinks. I'm going to have that to where it's sanded over with some filler in it, and you won't see them. There's no sense in needing to see the screws because this is all going to be casted together. What's missing right now is the stringer, the cement stringer. After these molds are made, then I'm going to flip them over, and I'm going to put the insert inside the mold, and I'm going to make the 2 cement inserts that are going, the 2 rubber inserts that are going to be used during the casting, and that'll become more apparent as you watch the later videos of me actually casting some of these chairs. But right now, this is the entire prototype 1 and 2, left and right, and we're going to have those 2, and then we still got to make the seat slat mold and the back slat mold, which is going to be another video. But right now I've got to seal the crap out of the plywood. Again, all of the wood with rubber, it just sticks to it like crazy. So I've got to seal it 3 times, sand it, and then look for any divots on the side where there's holes, fiberglass those with some Bondo. Get it all prepared, assemble it, and then it's going to be just like this looks now to where it's ready. The only thing that won't be here is the cement forms because they don't need to be. But the rubber stops, all this is going to be screwed together, and then I'm going to show you actually rubbering these 2 prototypes. So stick with me.